So it looks like Sony's just come out with the RX0. It's a really cool looking camera. It's a 1-inch sensor, so it's a tiny, tiny little sensor, and it's a 24, I believe, f4 equivalent Zeiss made lens on there, and it's crush proof, waterproof, drop proof. It seems like, you know, I was watching a documentary the other day, or what was I doing? No, I was looking up what cameras have been used on what films, just because I was like, oh, that could make an interesting video. And I never ended up going anywhere with it. I never ended up taking notes or anything. It just seemed like a fun thing to look into. And 5D Mark IIs, 5D Mark IIIs have been used on a lot of very large movies, like Avengers, like Lucasfilm's, oh shoot, it's called like the Red something. It's a fighter plane movie based on the Tuskegee Airmen. You know, they use these cameras because they're kind of disposable, right? Like by comparison to an ARRI Alexa, a 5D Mark III is disposable. You can set it up and blow it up and it's fine. But in the Avengers in particular, what they were doing was they were putting it up in places where they couldn't literally fit other cameras. So like if they wanted a shot under a car as the car is going to get flipped over, they'd put a 5D Mark III right there. And so it was a really cool thing to just kind of get into, but it seems like this is going to be a camera, the RX0, that supplants that role, because you can shoot S-Log2. Yeah, S-Log2 on it. You can output 4K over HDMI. It shoots up to 1,000 frames a second in 1080p mode internally. That goes all the way down to, like, you know, 1080p 30 and 24, right? But it goes 240, 360, 480, all the way up to 1,000, which is redonkulous, in my opinion. Probably going to experience like severe degradation of the image quality at 1,000 frames per second, but still you have it. But you know, it's really interesting too, because you can link up to 5 of these little cameras to one app, to your phone, to one phone, and you'll be able to link up 15 to like a bigger thing, and there's going to be a wired solution coming out down the line. And so it'd be very easy in a you know, I was talking about the high budget productions earlier on, not to like say, oh, so Canon's already got the market, but to say that like if you can link up 15 of these little cameras that you can put in a dash, on a dash, or in a sewer looking up, or whatever on your film set, and you're shooting in Sony anyway, or you're shooting in a log profile or RAW anyway, something like this where you can kind of snake a cord to an external monitor recorder and set up 15 of these all linked up to trigger at the same time, all with their time codes synced up for post. You know, this is not just like a GoPro killer, right? GoPros have been used on actually a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. They're really cool, but with this, you don't have to, like, the way that Sony was thinking about it is that they were thinking about it from like a professional workflow perspective. And so they're giving professionals who need cameras like this all the tools in the world. And at like $700, this is a disposable camera for these film sets. Like, this could be a really game-changing type of tool, because it's the same thing as a GoPro, but it's going to give you better 4K footage. It's going to give you S-Log, so you can actually do something to the footage, unlike GoPro, which you can't do anything to it because it's so fragile already, and it's so from such a tiny sensor, it'll just fall apart. The bitrate's no good. So you could really use a big production could really use these. They're also waterproof to something like 30 feet, or maybe it's just 6, I can't remember. But then they also sell an underwater housing case, so you can take it down to like 100 feet underwater, and it has an underwater white balance mode. And so you could, you know, if you're a kayakist, I don't know what the right term for that is, and you're trying to make content for your brand of kayaks, you know, instead of a GoPro, the production company that's helping you make this will probably want to go with this Sony RX0, because they might cost a little bit more, but they're going to give them better professional workflow opportunity in post. you know, it's going to give them S-Log2, it's going to give them 4K to the external records like we were talking about. And more importantly, for something like a kayakist, it's going to give you up to 1,000 frames a second. Imagine, you know, watching the action in non-Twixter 1,000 frames a second. That'll be a huge deal. That'll be super cool. So yeah, I think this is more of an industry kind of camera than it is like a consumer type of camera, because for the money you might as well just buy an RX100 something, and you'll get a better experience as a consumer, as a hobbyist, even as a professional. If you need a very small compact camera for just something. But if you're saying, okay, I'm making movies, I need to link all these up, I need to be able to just, if I need to put it in the middle of an explosion and blow it up, then I need to do that, or throw it underwater, or, you know, have it fall with the hero onto a soft pad for a POV scene. Like, this is the best camera on the market right now to do that with. So yeah, I'm really interested to hear what you all have to say about it, what you all think about it. I don't think that it's for consumers like you and I, for, you know, prosumer hobbyists like you and I think it's for big budget stuff. So I'm really curious to see what you think. Anyway, I've said that a lot. See you next one.